Here is the quad. I picked this thing up a long time ago. I had it sitting in my parents' garage. It's got an R6 motor in it, and how you see it is how I got it. So nothing on here was anything I did. There's some pretty ghetto work. I thought I'd be able to use this frame, but the more I look, I think I might get another frame. A new frame is like 300 bucks, so I think just starting fresh with a new frame is gonna be a better option. As you can see, it's all chopped here. There's stuff chopped out there. There's some ghetto stuff welded on. And then this square tube is all welded on. It's in pretty rough shape. The frame is worse than I thought it was. When I bought the thing, I only thought it was this up here. I didn't notice the stuff underneath there. So I think it's gonna be in my best interest and just easier to buy a new used frame and start from scratch. But here it is. And here is the engine donor. This is a 2017 Gas EC300. I bought it from a kid locally. It was obviously crashed pretty hard. Subframe's mangled, exhaust is mangled, and then I noticed the expansion chamber is also actually kind of messed up. There's a bracket on here somewhere that I noticed right there, and it does not line up. So I'm pretty sure that got shoved forward and is not right. And then there's just a bunch of wires, all mangled, chopped, cut, you name it. So I picked this up the other day and I was messing around with it. Could not get it running. It would fire for a little bit when I first got it, and then it would just die. And now it will not fire at all. And I narrowed it down to a spark issue, and then I narrowed it down to a stator issue. So I got a new stator coming from Europe, and then I also got a new CDI just in case. All right, so ice season is upon us. We got about 5 inches of ice. I got to get this thing done. I'm having an issue with no spark. I ordered a new stator and a new CDI and a new ignition coil. But in the meantime, I got to get going on getting this motor out of here and getting it into the quad frame. So today, that's what we're going to do. Get you guys up on a time lapse, pull this motor out. Then I'll get the lift table in here, get the quad frame on it. I'll have to get the swing arm off of the old frame, and then try to figure out how this motor is going to set in there, and then go on about building it. And hopefully by that time we'll have the spark sorted out and whatever else. So that is the goal today. That being said, let's get tearing into this thing. All right, I want to jump in here quick and give you guys a little explanation on why I even have an R6 swapped YFZ450. That is because I bought it and I was going to part it out on eBay. I do that on the side for some extra income, and I was going to buy a Yamaha Banshee but had a deal fall through, and I already had this quad, so I'm like, well, I could just get a motor and build this quad for something fun to do, you know, as a project. So that's what I opted for. And with the eBay thing, it works great because, like this dirt bike, I'm taking the motor and all of that stuff, and whatever's left will get thrown on eBay and sold, and that'll help recoup some of the cost for the build. Along with that R6 motor, I don't know, I might keep that and find something to do with that. I have some pretty cool ideas for it, but if not, that will get parted out and sold on eBay as well. Also, some of you are probably wondering why I'm not just fixing the quad and keeping the R6 motor, and that is because it is not legal for the ice classes that I'm going to run. Was not expecting that at all. Alright, so my apologies, the camera died on me. The engine was in my hands, so there wasn't really much I could do about it. But the engine's out of the bike, so we can kind of tentatively start putting it back together, roughly. Just make it a roller. So, I think I can get away with just leaving that motor mount. I'll still have to get everything in order and aligned, but that's going to be pretty dang good right there. I guess swing arm dependent, you know, the engine might have to go completely forward if the swing arm's going to interfere. Preferably I would like to use the swing arm mount, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the swing arm's too narrow on the YZF. Alright, I got the swing arm and axle off that other wheeler. I just tried to take it in the biggest piece possible and get it in here. I'm going to start by pulling the wheels off, and then I'm going to get it bolted up here. I got the swing arm bolt here, get everything situated and sitting on there, and try to get a game plan on where the motor needs to sit, if I'm going to have to move the motor back or forward or whatever, and then get a game plan for making motor mounts. There's only 2 bolts on this wheel. So chain alignment is great, and that is the biggest priority. I don't know about right here, but there's nothing I can really do about that at this time. I'm sure I'll be messing with sprockets and gearing and stuff when the time comes. The next order of business, now that I know that this has to be slid all the way this way, and it is going to sit right there, I'll have to shim that other side to hold the motor over this way, and then work on the motor mounts. My original plan was to just make a link between the swing arm pivot and this motor mount on the dirt bike, which went through the swing arm, but as you can see, it's just not gonna fit. Now looking at it, I'm gonna have to just make a motor mount off the frame up to there, which is totally fine. And then up here, these supports here are gonna have to get cut out. This side doesn't necessarily have to get cut out, but I want them to be symmetrical. So I have to take that one out to fit the pipe. So I'm gonna take this one out too, and then I'll kind of redesign it. There's that motor mount. I'll redesign it so it comes off of here and up to there somehow, and then hopefully somehow tie it back in here so I'm keeping that structural triangle here. But we'll see. I'm not too overly worried about it because it's not like I'm gonna be jumping and racing this quad on like a MX track. I'm just gonna be just kind of building it for fun and then ice racing. So it's not really gonna ever leave the ground. It's pretty nasty. We'll get this swing arm all cleaned up and stuff when we get to that. My goal right now though is to just get it built and riding, because I don't want to waste a bunch of time cleaning it up, whatever, and then miss out on like the ice racing season. So the main goal right now is to just get it built, and then after ice season is over, then it can get torn back down and everything can get powder coated and Cerakoted and whatever, which will be extremely difficult for me because I like to take everything over the top and go way overboard with everything, but it is what it is.
Hey, what do you say?